Hi there, it's me again. I am here to do a review today of Petsmart training class. Just as a record, I am not sponsored by anybody, totally normal, just average person here. I currently am a puppy owner. I have a Cavapoo who is a mixture of a King Charles Cavalier and a poodle, so he looks like a little teddy bear, and we are currently enrolled in puppy training. Puppy training is for dogs who are less than 5 months old and don't really have a lot of training experience. So first of all, I would talk about kind of what I learned, what to expect from the class as far as atmosphere, what you'll learn, what the trainers are like, how they teach, that kind of thing. Then I will talk about my experience, what I liked, what I didn't like, and would I do it again, and what dogs maybe would I recommend specifically do training. So currently we're enrolled in puppy class. What typically happens, the classes are 6 weeks. They are an hour long each week. So mine are Wednesdays at 5:30. I currently am located in Minnesota. And every week I'd bring my puppy after work, which was super great. There were 4 puppies in our class. One was a poodle, one was a sheepadoodle, one was a shih tzu, and then my dog, the Cavapoo. So there were big dogs, small dogs, medium dogs. My class was smaller. However, I have been told that that's mostly due to COVID and restrictions that they're facing right now. So it was only 4. You could only have 1 owner per dog in the actual room. The actual room is off to the side of PetSmart in an enclosed space. So typically my dog trainer at our location, I will say they could be totally different at different locations, but this is all based on my experience. The dog trainer I had, she would typically let the dogs off the leash for the first part of class, and she would shut the door, obviously, to the room. The puppies would be able to kind of check each other out, play with each other. That was super, super great because my dog is pretty shy towards other dogs sometimes. He's okay saying hi, but as soon as they kind of come up to him, he shies away. So one of the best things I think about this is that your dog gets to meet new people, it gets to meet new animals, and it's in an unfamiliar environment. So it's pretty easy to train your dog at home when there are no distractions, no other dogs, no other people. Personally, if you have a dog like mine, my dog loves to meet every single person on the planet. So focusing with distractions was super, super important for my dog. During play, my dog is actually still kind of learning to play. He wasn't into it at all at the beginning of class, and now he's actually getting more into it week by week, which I really like because I probably want to bring my dog to the dog park eventually one day. And so one thing that, if you guys don't know, is that when puppies play, they learn bite inhibition. So if you have a dog that's particularly nippy, I would definitely enroll this class because I have a dog who's really nippy. I mean, he would nip at my ankles when I walk. He will pick up everything on the floor. And so when he'd play with other dogs, if another dog got a little too rough with him, he'd nip, he'd let him know he wouldn't play with him. And that signals that, hey, that bite was a little too hard. I don't like it. I don't want to play with you anymore. And so my dog kind of learned some bite inhibition from that, and that when I play with him now, he doesn't bite as hard. And don't get me wrong, you're still going to need to focus on training with this. If you guys are interested, I can also do another video on how I've worked on bite inhibition and getting my puppy to nip less and not nip very hard. But this actually really did help him for that. And just a general disclaimer here, it was a super safe environment. No puppies were hurt. This is totally normal dog behavior. And my dog, by the way, is like less than 10 pounds. So I think, with how small my dog is, probably most or almost all dogs would be fine. Another thing, so what we learned in class, we learned basic cues such as sit, come, sit down when come, leash walking, like loose leash walking, so your dog doesn't pull you along on your walk, basically. We also learned down, wait, leave it, drop it, just some pretty basic cues, to be honest. This honestly wasn't something that my dog learned a lot from because I had already been working on my dog with a lot of basic cues. However, there were some cues that with a distracted environment were 10 times harder for my dog. And so I think that training was worth it just for that reason. My dog was a total puller on the leash, super curious, super interested in everything. So he would basically pull me on a walk, and that got really tiring. We tried actually training him a bunch and doing a bunch of different things. Wasn't working. My trainer actually recommended a front clip harness for him, which, just so you know, pretty much in my experience has stopped pulling immediately. It was super great. What happens is you clip it on the front of your dog. Whenever he starts pulling too hard, it turns his body sideways so that he is not able to continue on the walk and doesn't basically get to do what he wants. So that signals to him, when I pull too hard, I'm not getting what I want. So it decreases pulling. Anyways, so you learn basic cues in a distracted environment. My dog trainer, I don't know if everyone does this, but my dog trainer also went over some general hygiene and maintenance with my dog, which was super, super nice. They taught us how to clean their ears, my dog gets the tear stains here, how to clean those, how to provide dental care for your dog, because most dogs by the age of 3, 80% have some sort of dental issue or gum disease. So that was super important to me. I didn't know almost anything about that. And she also went over nail clipping and what happens if you cut the quick. So that was super helpful. So their basic cues, general maintenance and hygiene, and then obviously just some social behaviors, your dog learning how to be a dog, what's acceptable in dog world, what's not, and how to communicate with your dog too. So Petsmart focuses all on positive reinforcement, no negative punishments involved. So I wasn't interested in shock collars much. I wasn't interested in choking those choke collars much. And so I really wanted to focus on a dog that is really trusting, warm, open, and I wasn't looking for negative training behaviors or training, I guess, methods. So they are all positive reinforcement based, mostly based on treats. So if your dog is not interested in treats, I would highly recommend getting them interested in treats first. We had one dog in our class who was super picky and not interested in treats. However, she eventually got interested in treats after her owner was giving her more like cheese or meat or things that are more high value for dogs. Personally, I think the hardest thing my dog had to work on was leave it and drop it, and he is still working on this. We actually have 1 week left of class, but this was definitely the hardest thing for him because he likes to pick up everything in the world, and so we're still working on it, but I would say that was the hardest thing. Some things I did like about the class, I think it was super great for socialization. I thought that my dog learned a lot. We are actually continuing with education. We're going to do intermediate training with him because we want him to eventually be kind of like service level dog trained. He's actually an ESA for me currently, potentially moving into a service dog eventually for a medical condition I have. But I just thought I'd let you know that that's kind of where I want my training levels to be. This class is going to focus on super basic behavior. You're not going to get that service dog level out of this class. So you have to continue with training to get to that level more. Some things I didn't like about the class, I thought, I didn't like that my husband couldn't come into class with me, but that is just a COVID protocol. This is not typically enforced. Other than that, I really can't, other than sometimes my trainer didn't spend as much time on things that I wanted, but that could be a personal bias in there. Otherwise, I thought that class was great, honestly. I would totally recommend it, and I would take it again. I was pretty skeptical of enrolling my dog. For me, they actually hand out a coupon book in the beginning of class. So he got things like, a discount on toys and treats. He got a free bag of dog food. They actually give you money off a next class if you register with them. So I actually took advantage of all of that. So for me, my training class was around $100. It normally is priced at $120 for 6 weeks of training. However, at least the next time you do training, you'll probably get money off. So for me, I had the puppy booklet that I had bought originally, so that got me $15 off, and then they give you another actually coupon booklet in class. So training was around $100. I actually didn't think that was too expensive. I looked at private training lessons, which were way, way more than Petsmart, and I actually wanted to train with my dog. That was a huge plus to me. Sometimes I'm currently located in Minnesota here, and we have private dog training where you sometimes drop off your dog and say goodbye. And I really wanted to be a part of the training process. My trainer was super great at involving, and she put a lot of responsibility on dog owners, as it should be, frankly. Dogs need to be trained and learn how to behave. Another thing, who would I recommend probably to take training? I would highly recommend any puppy just to do a beginner or puppy class, especially just to get the basics, just for socialization, pieces. I would totally recommend just at least a basic level class, regardless of your goals of training. I think everyone wants a dog that doesn't jump up, that can come when called, sit, all those kinds of really basic things. So I would highly recommend it for puppies. I would highly recommend it for distracted dogs. And I would highly recommend it for people who are looking to excel their training, because if you want a really, really well-behaved dog, you have to start somewhere. And I believe that starting young is a good option. So if you guys have any questions, you can put them in the comments. I'm usually pretty good at responding pretty fast. So let me know what you think, and I will try and answer your questions.